What is going on, guys? It's Deal here, back again with another RDX podcast. We've got a phenomenal panel. I say this every single week, but I promise this time I mean it. We've also got a couple special guests as well, and a last minute addition as well in the form of somebody who's particularly very interesting to listen to about this kind of stuff. We're gonna start some intros. And then we're getting into some shout outs. We want to thank everybody, well over 100 already, waiting in the chat. Hit that like button. Let's get up to 300 for the end of the show, 1,000 if you're watching after the fact. Colt Eastwood, big day, brother. Thank you so much for joining us again, as you always do.
Yes, busiest day, craziest day. Started all like 5:30 in the morning with the news we're going to talk about today, so I cannot wait to get on this mic. And it's going to be really good.
Hey, Zalka, how you been, brother?
Doing good, man. A lot of stuff to talk about today. I can't wait to get into it. You know, Sony came out today, and we're all excited. I just can't wait to talk about it, man.
Yeah, it's good. It's good news. I don't know why some people think this is worth damage. This is absolutely fantastic news. I love this kind of stuff. Hey, D-Bat, of course, he's still enrolling it. You're here. D-Bat, how you been, brother?
I'm good,
talented.
I'm so hyped up today, man. Man, a lot of people are eating a lot of crow. A lot of our predictions came true, and a lot of people, I don't know why people are under the impression that we're gonna be upset about this. This is awesome for gamers in general.
We literally told them this is gonna happen, right, D? I mean,
yeah, we've been saying this for months. We said about the ray tracing, we said that it's gonna have Zen in it, it's gonna have good cores, it's gonna have a better CPU, yada yada yada, and it's all coming to fruition today. So I'm excited to talk about it, man.
Yeah, we've also got Fonzarelli, brother. How you been?
Hey, I've been good, but we got great news from Sony and not so much of great news coming from Microsoft. So anyway, let's get into all this, man.
Yeah, Zalker, man. And we got a big panel today, guys. We're going to make it work, though. We're really going to make it work. Zalker, how you been, brother?
This is the second time you're coming to me again.
See, now, what these people don't understand is I'm still testing this dude, all right? He's still testing how alert he is, all right? Tim Dog.
5 seconds ago.
We got to give a big shout out to, and I did get everyone else, right? Okay. Tim Dog, thank you so much for joining us, man. It's great to have you on the show again. How have you been, man?
Good, man. I'm really happy to be here. What a panel. Brad Sams, everyone else here. Wow. Just I'm pleased to be with you guys to talk this stuff. Today's a pretty big day too.
It's always great to have Beastfire Tim Dog on the RDX podcast. And Sir Brad Sams, I am very certain this guy has a really good credit score. Brad Sams, thanks for joining us again, man.
Thanks, my guys. Is my mic working, by the way? I have no idea.
Yeah, you sound good.
Oh, good.
I hit Brad Sams up and like, hey, man, a lot of stuff's happened today. We're doing a podcast in like 30 minutes. You want to join us? And, hey, found some time hiding under the table and doing a podcast with us.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
It is. We got a ton of great stuff to talk about today. And once again, just got to give a big shout out to everybody joining us live as I stall and get my topics ready. So for one, we do have to give a shout out real quick to the patron sponsors. These guys power the show. They are the best of the best. We've got Captain Red. There's a baby in the background, D-Batch. We got Captain Redbeard, Lethal Papa, Jedi, Prime Suspect, Michael Bowen, Channing Pennington, Guillermo Cavillo. We've also got Robert Prather, Biggie2316. You guys are absolutely phenomenal. We also got patrons linked down below in the description. Follow those guys on YouTube and follow them on Twitter. Support those that support the show. You guys are absolutely fantastic. And I kind of wanted to start out by reading off some of the stuff about PlayStation 5. And we'll come to Brad first, because I want to know your thoughts. I know you didn't do a video on this, but PlayStation 5 officially announced, essentially, the lead architect, Mark Cerny, the guy that made the PS4. Something I didn't really get to in my video because I only had some of the sources, and ultimately it was really confirmed by Mark Cerny. He did this whole interview thing on it. But it is confirmed Navi and Zen 2 8-core. No count on the thread count yet. SSD is what they're really leaning towards hard here. And they did show off a demo, Spider-Man, what took 15 seconds of fast travel on the base PS4. They did it in less than a second on the PS5 dev kit. And they said it was a slow version, but I'm sure it'll be a similar result. They've also got backwards compatibility confirmed, at least for the PS4. Also supports 8K. We'll get more into that. We're not talking about native games here. We're going to give our kind of opinions on that kind of stuff. Has a disk drive, unlike some consoles. And of course, like I said, Mark Cerny kind of went in and showed the guy the dev kit and switched between the TVs. And this is all legit for sure. So yeah, it does support ray tracing. They're going to use that for some kind of audio spectrum stuff as well. PSVR is fully backwards compatible. And Brad Sams, this is kind of a big blowout, man. What were your thoughts on all this when this kind of hit?
So there's a lot to unpack there. But the first one was just the timing. So you got to get in Sony's head. Did they really know that the Maverick console or Xbox, the all digital edition was coming out today, and they felt like they needed to get ahead of that, and so they said, "Hey, we're going to publish our specs because of that." First off, everything aside, if that is true, Sony must be scared shitless, because why would you publish some of your biggest assets?
Yep.
Scared shitless. Brad Sams 2019. What?
Write it down.
So you think they're really kind of like, man, we need to divert the attention here. What, you really think that?
I don't know if that's the case, but the timing. I mean, if 365 days of the year,
they do this a lot, Brad. They do this a lot. They do. They put out big news when Xbox has big news.
That wasn't big Xbox news. Like guys, we've all been following Xbox for a long time, and we know what big news is. Like this was, I don't want to say like a footnote, but this wasn't like a big announcement. This was something that we all knew was coming. Like there's no new features here. This is literally just a box without the disk drive, and that's it.
You're talking about the Maverick, just not the PS5.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're right. And you're the one who leaked this thing, right? So you've been talking about this thing forever, and we kind of carried it, and we're like, hey, Brad's reputable. And like you said, we've known about this for a while. Blue, I got to give you a shout out to somebody in the super chat. Friendly Neighborhood Blue Shell says, for the Tim Dog, Tim, I'll send you $20, bro. Actually, I'll send you 70% of $20. That's what I'm going to do, because Google likes their money. Thank you so much, man. So yeah, I mean, Maverick, no big surprises here, but in terms of PlayStation 5, I mean, they did time it. This was intentional. What were your thoughts on what Cerny went into detail on? Ray tracing was something that people were trying to give me crap for, saying obviously it's going to be in the system, especially if their Polyphony had showed it on GT Sport. What are your thoughts on everything that you've heard there?
So here's Sony did a good job with this, by the way, because they announced a bunch of stuff, but at the same time, they really didn't announce anything, because while they announced that, hey, it's Zen 2, we all knew that. We knew it was going to be some sort of Navi graphics, like, right? That's AMD only builds one of these things. Like, they're not going to build, all new architecture.
They're not going to go back and make a Polaris chip for a 2019 or 2020 system.
So what they announced was like, okay, this is what we know. What we don't, like the things they didn't announce, like clock speed, bus speed, their T-flops targets,
the amount of RAM for that, the speed of the RAM for that matter. So what they announced today were just like, okay, we knew this. The only kind of interesting thing in there is that they officially confirmed PS4 backwards compatibility. Notice they didn't say PS3, because good luck trying to replicate the cell CPU. But to me, it was a whole bunch of like nice stuff, but it didn't really tell us a whole lot. It was a very, very calculated drip.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it, Tim?
I agree with them. I think the timing was out of nowhere. I mean, maybe they were thinking, let's just get a go of it, and they're ready to announce their pretty much what it's going to be about their console. Now, this confirms to me that Xbox is going to have all this announced at E3 as well. So we should get the story of what they're talking about with their stuff at E3. So that's pretty much all but confirmed. But the timing really caught me off guard. I mean, nothing really surprising. The ray tracing, I'm very happy about. I know a lot of people were doubting. I mean, I was talking about that and I was getting made fun of, and I think you were too, Dealer. I think you made a couple of videos on it, but ray tracing is a very good confirmation on that, because it's just showing that these consoles are going to be pretty much really, really good. And another thing, they're talking about the speed. I have heard that from a cold boot, you can turn an Xbox on within 3 seconds and be within your UI, connected to your friends and your games. That's 3 seconds. I'm pretty sure PS5 is going to be the type of thing. That's the type of thing that makes console gaming, in my opinion, favorable. I mean,
for reference, the time now is like 45 seconds.
Right, yeah. And this is a cold boot they're talking about. Now, let's see if that comes to fruition, but that's pretty impressive if true. You know what I mean? So they're going after speed. They're going after, power. I think 4K 60 is going to be the bench, and I think that it was a smart move by Sony. Sony maybe getting a little ants under their pants, and they see that Xbox is going to have an E3, and maybe they just wanted to get the first punch out there, and it. It's got 52K right now talking on it, trending. So they did what they want to do, in my opinion.
Yeah, they got their message out there. Elliot Brown says, "Hey, love the panel, excited for all the news. Thank you so much, brother. We do appreciate it. A lot of interesting stuff here, and it reminds me a lot of like with the ray tracing. It reminds me a lot of the Xbox One X stuff, where people were like, 'You're lying, like this is impossible,' and then boom, 4K 60 on Forza, all that. It's the same thing over and over." And these people we're not just guessing here. You don't actually watch the videos. I guess it's hard for you to know, but it's explained in detail. So Colt Eastwood, I want your take on this as well. PlayStation 5. You made some videos about this. Yeah, I got some videos about this, right? So what are your thoughts on this?
You called it back in June, I think, is when you first reported on this, wasn't it?
Somewhere around there.
And then a couple months later, I did like a full video on it too. It's interesting. It's funny that these people think that we're just making it up or pulling this numbers out of our rear end, but we know what AMD's working on. We know like what they're going to do consumer wise for like a bulk console. So that's easy to know. Plus there were the leaks with the numbers, and if they look right, you report on them. But anyway, a lot of the people in the chat are saying, why is Sony doing this now? So look at it. It's spring 2019, and Mark Cerny said it's definitely not a 2019 release. I'm going to go out on a ledge like I always do, and I'm going to say that they're pushing for spring 2020 release. Who's with me?
I'm
right
with
there
you.
with you. I'm with you, man.
I thought the exact same thing with the timing. Why would you play your hand so early?
Yeah.
It's a pretty big drop to drop all the information. That told me everything I needed to know what Microsoft is going to release. Microsoft is really confident that their next generation Xbox is going to set the benchmark. And Sony coming out early with their specs kind of reaffirms that for myself. And I do think that they're going to come out early in 2020 as well. I think they're going to come out in March, and to get ahead of the next generation Xbox device, because it's going to be more powerful, and they're going to need to get some mind share and get some other exclusives out there, for the gamers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well said, D-Badge. Zalker, give me your thoughts real quick.
To be honest, the thing that I've thought about the most was that dealer has like a DeLorean parked in his garage, and he's like gunning it to 88 and time traveling and seeing everything. Because this dude, literally in parties and videos, he predicted a lot of this. Like everything I was reading, I was like, dealer said this, dealer said that. And don't get me wrong, it was kind of cool to see that. But at the same time, the one thing I took from it was they talked a little bit about cloud, but said we're gonna talk about the cloud for PlayStation as we get closer to launching the PS5 or PlayStation. He didn't even call it the PS5. And on top of that, the games that were announced, they've hinted repeatedly in the articles I read that they're going to be cross-gen, that they're going to come to the PS4 and the PS5. So that kind of, I didn't really like that, to be honest with you, because the games that they announced, I thought were going to be PS4 Pro, like ready and everything. But if they're going to look better on a PS5, it's going to kind of irritate me a little bit.
But why would people ever buy a PS5, Zucker, when it's only the games that push that console?
I know, exactly. So is that going to hurt the sales?
Right? That push that console. So why would they do that?
Exactly. So I don't even know if I need to buy a PS5 if I already have a Pro and I can just play all those games on there too.
Or is it that it's common sense and you like that additional performance? You're like, hey, I have that option now. No King's Blood fraud. Nobody said 4K 60 on all games. So yeah, Fonz, give me a take. We do got a big panel here. I'm working with it best I can here.
Yeah, and everybody basically said everything I was going to say anyway, but I will just say that it told me two things. It said that they wanted to get their information out there first, just trickle a little bit out there so they could say, oh, we got that too. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't put out numbers like the T-flop numbers or anything, and I think that was strategically done. So, they're going to not release that till later because, like I said, if Xbox says, they're going to do ray tracing or, 8K support, whatever, they've got all those buzzwords covered. And that's a major thing, too. They had those buzzwords, 8K, ray tracing, things like that they put out there for people in their minds to stew in there, and have people get crazy over this stuff. And the other thing it told me, too, was that spring 2020 will be the release date of the PS5.
You think so? Yeah, if it were Microsoft, I wouldn't be quite sure because they're like gonna hey, we don't care, everything works with everything. But
Microsoft, I think it's going to be definitely 100%. For Xbox, it's going to be the holiday in 2020. There's no way it's going to be Q1 or Q2. And I think I think that for me, I'm in I'm in the camp for Sony to launch Sonic them in November.
I have a question for Brad, actually, if that's okay. Brad, so for the system that they kind of like, not the system, but the specs that they showed, it was pretty powerful. Like, we were all excited for it. We can't wait to see the future of gaming and all that for the consoles. Does this kind of indicate that there's going to be 2 SKUs of a PlayStation's console? Have you heard anything about that?
I haven't heard anything about that specifically. We know that there's going to be 2 SKUs of Microsoft of the Xbox. I mean, let me put it this way: they're planning to ship that. Whether or not they do, is up to them. They plan to ship a lot of things, and sometimes they don't show up. But they definitely have 2 in the makings right now. The one really interesting thing that Sony did today is they basically gave Microsoft, what did we bet? 6 to 8 weeks, maybe even longer than that, or whatever it is, until E3. That is a really long time to give Microsoft time to spin up a marketing pitch about how their raw specs are better than PlayStation. That's a really long time. And I wonder if that's an accident, to be honest, because if they go up there and they say, well, shit, we have 10 cores, or even if it's 8 and it's comparable, they can now craft a pitch around what Sony's kind of, marketing points were and knock them down if they want. And it's really unusual in the marketing space to give your competition that much runway before a major conference.
Well, Brad, that's the reason why I think it was strategic in that they didn't give away like the T-flops and things of that nature. I think they just let just a little bit out there just to give enough to, hopefully maybe they know that they only have 8 cores going into that Anaconda as well. And maybe the Anaconda is more powerful. Maybe they know that in T-flops and that's why they didn't mention certain things. Maybe that's why
it could be.
Well, they can have 8 cores, but they could have more threads, right? So they could have 16 threads. I mean, that would be crazy on a console, but I mean, it's not impossible. I will also say that everything that Tim is hearing, that I'm kind of hearing, Xbox are very confident that they're still going to have the fastest kit. Right, Tim?
Yeah, pretty much. I've seen things and I've heard things and I've actually been told things, at times during the years, I'm pretty sure that they're going to come out and that might be what this is all about. And I'm pretty sure that I think there's a good likely ability that they're going to say that they're the most powerful at E3. They're crafting that. They're going to be the most powerful and probably with 2 SKUs, the most affordable. This is not going to affect the X. I think the X is just going to be like the type of thing with like a 1080 and a not comparable, but a 2080 to a 1080. It might not have the next gen features like ray tracing like Lockhart have, but it'll probably run around the same area as Lockhart, in my opinion. So your X is not going to be deemed worthless. Like, I've got that on Twitter today. That I doubt that the X and the Xbox One is going to be still supported.
Yeah, are they thinking their pros are going to be worthless because the PS5 is coming?
Exactly. So
I mean, I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, for them to mention 8K too, to me was very.
Let's talk about that real quick, because we need to wrangle that in, because that's a ton of performance, and there's no APU that I see anytime soon doing that on big demanding AAA games. I said it in today's video. It's not going to happen on the Metros of the world. Okay, if it does anything, it's going to be a bragging right on smaller titles, perhaps maybe some mid-range titles, but at a low frame rate. But more than anything, it's more a reference to the HDMI standard that PS5 is going to have. It should be running the latest standard, which will be capable of 8K 30 plus hertz, right, D-Batch?
Yeah, that's correct. I it's a little bit misleading, but I think Tim's right. I think they put these buzzwords out there, 8K, get people startled, and everyone believes what Sony says, the hardcore out there at least. So marketing is everything, but I don't think it's going to do 8K textures, 8K graphics. I simply think it's just going to upscale to 8K, to be honest with you. I think that's it.
So more like 6K, right?
Like a PC now. Like, there's no PCs now that can do 8K with 1 GPU, and if you're able to do it with 2 GPUs, like, you spend like $4,000. Like, let's just get back to reality here. But I do think it'll upscale to 8K so they can push their 8K TVs for the next few years. So.
Mark Cerny also seems to believe that, and we got to give everyone in the chat a shout out. We got Pat Man, Salty, We got LG, we got Lethal. Give me your jacket. We've got Give Me Your Jacket. I'm sure Rumple Foreskin's in here somewhere. We got to give all you guys a shout out, as well as 700 plus people watching already. Guys, hit that like button. Let's try to get it to 300 for the end of the show, and 1,000 if you're watching after the fact. We've been hitting those goals, so let's go for it again. But yeah, Mark Cerny seems to believe the SSD is the key to the future. Talking about how, hey, we literally can't stream data from the hard drive fast enough to feed the CPU and get that data out there to do certain things in games. And, you know, they're deciding to go all out here. I'm not going to complain. SSD, like, that's what makes me think this might be a $500 system. So I don't know. I mean, who haven't we got to in here in a minute?
I got to tell you, I think that's the biggest load of crap.
Think so?
Oh, wow.
Give us your thoughts, Brad Sands.
Oh, my God. To say there are more powerful chips out there than what they are going to ship in that console probably today. Granted, you're going to be looking at what, like 32 core. They're like Xenon chips. They're crazy expensive in the server infrastructure world. To come out and the balls to say that, hey, we can't find a storage medium fast enough to feed the CPU from AMD. I mean, there's Optane memory out there. If they let me put it this way, if the Zen 2 CPU architecture is so fast that Optane memory does not feed it fast enough, everybody is screwed. We're all screwed.
Well, this was Cerny, right? Cerny likes the theoretical and the 8.4 teraflops, 16 half floats, and you know the theoretical stuff that, oh, if we just had this much more speed. I think he was talking about developers, and the number one thing they kind of asked for was, I know it's impossible, but can we get an SSD? And I think they want to fulfill that request, which would be really cool.
But I mean, Microsoft's, I believe, using NVMe storage technology, which
I'm
wondering, what's that?
Which is much faster, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's much faster.
Yeah.
So I think he was choosing his word like incredibly specific when he said SSD, because that's a certain type of drive, right? And it's typically an older type of drive. So if you come in saying, "Hey, give me an SSD," like early gen solid state drives may not be fast enough, and you do need something faster. But to like really harp on the point that their magic sauce is a hard drive, I mean, come on.
See, my thinking was like, look. People say 7,200 RPM drive isn't a massive leap, but if you get a good low latency 7,200 RPM drive, add to that, like Microsoft customized the 5400 in the X right now and gave it 20 megs per second more bandwidth. Let's say they did that to a 7,200, right? I think they could get great performance and take some of that money saved and put it into the actual chip and specs of the system. And it's seeming like they're really dead set on getting this SSD performance. Maybe not in the low end versions, but I think for sure in the high end versions, whether it's M.2 or not, that's kind of debatable. But yeah,
I'll kind of just say this real quick. The inclusion of SSD, though, if every developer does know that each PlayStation 5 has a SSD in it, they can optimize it. To be honest with you, I think they could get greater performance. But I agree, it's not going to be secret sauce. It's just going to make the games load quicker and things load in quicker and whatnot.
Yeah. Which, Cerny's a very intelligent guy. I just don't know. He can't say too much, but it seems like since he's showing off the difference between the PS4 Pro load time and the PS5 dev kit with that SSD in it, that they're definitely going to have an SSD in this thing. Going from 15 seconds of fast travel Spider-Man to 0.8 seconds. That's quite substantial, Colt.
Yes, it is. But I looked at the prices of the SSDs. And 1 terabyte. I mean, this is consumer retail. You got to cut it way down. $150 for 1 terabyte, but a 2 terabyte's $300. So, I mean, that's the only thing that's the only thing I think Sony wants to, and that they should push for a $400 price point. And a lot of people are saying it's going to be $500, but I think that SSD might be their problem. But it is the answer for streaming the games and faster load times and all that stuff that will make your system feel next level. It's a tough one.
I do want to run this by Brad. If you guys remember, I reported on some job listings from Microsoft seeking an electrical and mechanical engineer for next generation storage, right? For the next systems, basically. And they're not, obviously not going to take something and buy it and do all that stuff. They're actually literally trying to engineer next level versions of storage to kind of work with their systems, I think. Which, Brad, I mean, maybe they are going kind of more, maybe not proprietary, but putting their own twist on things, kind of like they did with the X's hard drive, but differently, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft, especially, I want to say in the last 24, maybe 36 months, might be a little generous, has gotten really involved with chipset design as a company. They worked really close with Qualcomm to help build these Snapdragon 8CX chips. They've also been working on optimizing a lot of memory capacity across their different laptops and everything else. And so, what Microsoft is doing as a company is becoming better and better at chip design and optimization, which is why I'm really interested to see the actual architecture of the next gen, because it's, yes, AMD is building it, and yes, AMD is bringing a lot of the technology to it, but Microsoft works on so many different hardware levels anymore, and they build their own data centers that have custom chips. I think this is going to be one of the first generations where we see Microsoft being much more hands-on with every aspect of the development of the console, rather than going to AMD and be like, hey guys, we need a chip, and we need a graphics card, and we also need it to work, and we also need all that. I've been hearing that Microsoft is much more hands-on with the development of all aspects, from the system on the chip level all the way up through, obviously, the software and drivers.
We saw that in the X as well. They eliminated 60, what was it? 60 bottlenecks in different popular game engines for the silicon, and there's still not an APU today on the market that's as quick as the Xbox One X's APU, which on the GPU side, which is pretty impressive. We've got Carmos in the super chat says, "Dealer, please lay into the Xbox One SAT edition." We're going to talk about that. We're definitely going to talk about that. I've already talked about it on a video a couple days ago. We already leaked all this and talked about it, but we're definitely going to give our perspectives. Everything's been confirmed and locked down. But yeah, I mean, PS5.
Can I talk about the hard drive for a second?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so for the SSD, the thing that I liked that Mark Cerny was talking about, well, he was saying like how fast Spider-Man moves through the city. And a lot of people, you know, he this is the great example he put. He said the reason why he moves this fast is because the rest of the world can't really load as fast as he moves. So can you imagine like next generation, like moving faster or playing like, you know, like a Superman game, moving this at like the speed of light, right? Like a bullet going around and all the environments loading with you at the, like as fast as you can think it to go.
And the PS4 version is just like,
yeah, it just dies. So, but like that's what I'm saying. Like that stuff like that, that technology. Like I know, like people like this is awesome text like thing that they've talked about. All these specs and everything are awesome because we're gonna see completely different games and imaginations just run wild from developers. I can't wait to see stuff.
Yeah, imagine Anthem without all those loading screens.
Hey, those are in there for a reason. They'll still be in there. And they'll be slower.
Imagine them being 0.2 instead of 55 seconds.
There you go.
Hey, Obi-Wan FTW Super Chat says, "Hell of a show tonight, Dilla. Thank you. Sad is a ripoff." Oh man, Obi-Wan thinks it's a ripoff. We're definitely gonna get into that, man. Thanks for the super chat. But the PS5 stuff, very interesting. We gotta have a shout out to Brian Harris and Ashton Luca as well. But yeah, there's some people in the community that are really freaking out about all this stuff. And every year, Brad, I know you're kind of not really in the same circle that we are, but you are. You're newer, right? But it kind of not really in the exact circle. It's hard to explain, but basically, get used to hearing people cry every single year right before E3. Oh my God, show us something! It's like they're going to. It's called E3. Why would they show it to you today? Brad, do you think that they needed to come out with something today to counter the PlayStation 5 information? Like, isn't that just ridiculous logic to you?
Yes, it absolutely is. Microsoft's plans are starting to come together, and I'm starting to get a little bit more information about how their E3 is going to be structured. There was no reason for them to come out and be like, "Yeah, here's the Anaconda specs." It would feel very reactionary, which is never a good place to be from a position of power. Like Microsoft coming out and be like, well, we've got this. Like that doesn't feel right. And there's what's the rush, right? So there's going to be a lag between now and E3, but it's not like you can buy any of this stuff. It's not like anything can be pre-ordered. And so it's not like they need to head off any sales. And so, for them to come out like today and start talking about it would have been completely useless.
Yes, agreed. And shout out to the Big Kahuna, man. We got to get him on the show, man. OG.
Hey, dude, I just want to add real quick, for people that are yearning for information, we're going to get some more information on Navi at Computex. So that's not too far away, and we'll get a little bit more of the puzzle.
Yeah. There's a ton of new stuff coming out. So there's a lot of people that are now kind of acting like, oh, I'm criticizing Xbox and I'm keeping it real. But really, you're behind. You're way behind. We did this 2 years ago. We've been asking for new software for years, and now that they're kind of working on that stuff, we're not going to sit there and cry every single day for views. We're just going to kind of move along and play games. But it's definitely the most exciting time to be an Xbox gamer in a while. We've been very vocal about the lack of first-party software for years now. We started RDX over 2 years ago now, which is crazy to think of. Shout out Randall Thor in the chat as well, Invader, all you guys. So there's just a lot of people that are mixed emotions and they're sensitive about stuff. So we got an RDX live show question as well from Dave Incubus, and I'll kind of let
great name, by the way.
I'll let Tim answer this one. We kind of went over it, but if Sony do 2 SKUs of PS5, will PS5's high-end console have a chance of being faster than the Xbox Anaconda, Tim?
No, and they're only doing one.
And they're only doing one, Tim
And I
says.
believe that I'm pretty sure that Microsoft knows the specs of their console. I'm pretty sure Sony knows the specs of Microsoft console because they both share the same manufacturer, and I'm sure
they know it's possible, right?
I'm sure that they kind of have the idea. It's like Phil had said many times that he knew what Pro was because he passed on Pro. He was, basically when he was looking into a mid-gen refresh, he said, "No, this isn't enough," and he waited the extra year, and then we got X. So, I think that they know, and I think Sony probably. I think it's pretty. It'd be very, very surprising, and I would eat a lot of crow, to be honest. I've talked a lot. If
where the hell are all the birds?
Sony is even on par with them because they really have talked a big game that they're going to be more powerful, faster.
Hey, we got to give a shout out to Clobriel as well. This guy's put a lot of good stuff out there as well. He's in the chat. So thanks for the question, Dave Incubus. Really, really cool. We've also got, that kind of has a lot to do with what we just talked about. But inside Xbox, Brad Sams, I don't know how much time you got, brother, but I want to get your opinion on the Xbox One S All Digital Edition retailing for $249.99. And that is, of course, in the States. You'll also have access to Forza Horizon 3, Sea of Thieves, and Minecraft. And you know what? What are your thoughts on this? I mean, you can buy an Xbox One S with a disk drive, which is added value with the same size hard drive for $210 right now.
Yeah, or you can spend $232 and get one from Amazon that comes with Battlefield 5 and the Apex Legends Founders Pack.
Or you could get a milk crate and build a megaton PC for $300 that can destroy all consoles combined.
That's the realest thing that's ever been said.
So you're kind of thinking, man, this was kind of a misstep.
So something's off here, and and I can't quite figure out what the miss was, and I'm digging in onto it because when I got this information back in November, they were building this thing. They were supposed to launch this disc to digital program, which was going to add a lot of value because you take all your old crap games and you hand them in, and they give you shiny download tokens and make it all work. And then what we get is a console, which unless you specifically want Sea of Thieves, Forza Horizon 3, and Minecraft, it doesn't make sense. Like
So it comes with one game. Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Exactly.
Well, I'd like to point out too, Horizon 3 is in there, but you get the what many people consider the better Horizon 4 in Game Pass, which undoubtedly has a month or so in the box.
Yeah, there's something missing from this narrative. And now, the one thing we don't know, and this is the way they structured their PR when it came out, was that there's that very awkward line that says this console will always be $50 less than an Xbox One S. Okay, but does that must not include bundles because obviously it's not less than that. And so the thing that goes through my head is they're saying the MSRP is $249.99. That's the MSRP. Now, what are the retailers paying for it? Can the retailers actually sell it for closer to 200? Because that would $199 to me was like the given sweet spot for this thing, and that's what I'd been hearing for a while. And the fact that it comes out at $249 with an MSRP, there's more to this story, and we're trying to dig in and figure out what it is. But that price point just doesn't feel right.
Yeah. Right.
And what do you do when you walk up to the guy and you're like, I'd like to price match this?
Yeah.
I think Colt mentioned this earlier. We only price match versions of this console have these 3 games and no disk drive.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I got to point this out to Brad. Brad, if you go to Walmart.com right now, they have the Battlefield 5 bundle with the S for $199.
Yeah. This is what I mean. Like Microsoft had a narrative with this thing, and again, it doesn't make sense. That's why I'm saying something feels off. I still
Well, what's missing, Brad? Like you said, there's something missing from the story. What could
what's
it be?
missing is about $100.
About $100
There's
bucks.
something in the box that we don't know about. Maybe that I don't know.
See, I feel that everyone's kind of knee-jerk reaction to this. I think when it comes out that, listen, if it was released today, it would have a $50 off, so it'd be $199 because they're running the $50.
When's the release date on it, Tim?
The
May
7th, I think, May 7th.
Yeah.
So, they could have a deal that day right off the bat. That's $199. I
So
agree.
why not just launch
Okay.
it at $199 and get the better PR?
I think that I don't know. I mean, I think that when it comes out, I think that they're gunning, in my opinion, is $149 for the holiday,
Mhm.
and that or $139 if they even go like when they were $189 that one year, and they'll go with a cheap console like that. And I just think they're testing the water. I've heard Brad say this on a couple of his videos I've watched that. We have a disc is something you can add at the last moment or take away. They might be just testing the water with this, and
I do. I
just
firmly
throwing
believe that this is the canary in the coal mine. They're testing to see if this is a viable thing for next gen. They're trying to see like how do people react to this, and they'll go from there. And I don't think you're too far off that it would be a ballsy move. And I don't know if Microsoft is this ballsy, to be honest, to come out with that $249 price, knowing that it's high. That it's high, so that when they drop the price to $199 or $179 for the holidays, like, damn, that's a good deal.
Yeah, but why risk that
I don't know.
horrible response?
Yeah.
Like IGN put up a video reporting on it. It's got 600 up and 650 down or something like that. Like, it's not worth it. Like, how can they? I scratch my head at Microsoft all the time. Like, why would you reveal this knowing that all of you guys at Microsoft, you looked on Amazon, you looked on Newegg, you looked on Walmart.com,
they ask themselves how they're going to price match it. They don't know.
But Colt, it's not even just about that. I mean, even if they made the price of $199, you go online, you look at the Xbox One S with the 4K Blu-ray drive is $199. It would still like screw with people's minds. It makes no sense.
I know we make fun of Redbox, but I know there's a lot of us in here that every once in a while we pick up a Redbox and bring it home to sit down and just watch a movie or grab a disc from the shelf. We don't use as much physical media as we used to, but you take that away, you have to make it so worth it not to have. It's not just a disc drive; it's a UHD disc drive, and you take it out and you drop the price by essentially $50. Like,
there's one big problem here, and I had to give a shout out to Inferno Assassin in the super chat real quick. He says he needs a full back compat on PS4 or PS5 and Xbox, but we know we're gonna have back compat on the Xbox. That's Microsoft mantra. And Sony, if they're smart, they got to bring those PS4 games forward, and the more they can do, the better. Thank you, Kid Smooth. What's going on, brother? Seeing you, your comment in the chat as well. But here's the deal. I had said this on yesterday's video. The reason this thing is not cheaper is because it's not a full-on. Sony had the little the big giant PS3, and then a little pancake PS3, and then the one with the sliding glass door on it that was a piece of shit. And then that they completely redesigned it.
Grill.
They completely redesigned everything around those, right? Microsoft literally, and they made fun of it in their ad, which was great, by the way, which made fun of people panicking about this kind of stuff. And I really like that advertisement. That's good stuff. But yeah, they didn't redesign this Xbox One X. They literally removed the hard drive, closed up the slot with a piece of tape, apparently. And that's why it's $249. If they would have rebuilt everything around new silicon, less motherboard circuitry, power supply, all that, then they could have probably gotten another $50 off this thing and produced it for the long
Think about how many.
So on that, what you just said, that repackaging of stuff, there is a refresh in the works. I believe they call it the E model.
Oh yeah,
like one Xbox One SE that is targeted for granted, end users like ourselves will never know this, right? Unless we rip it open and really dig through. But I believe that refactoring is going to be scheduled for the second half of this year. So that is coming.
And that's coming to the disc-based X, though. Or S, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know explicitly all the consoles, but I know that the Xbox One S, and I would imagine the all digital version falls right into it, because why would you use a different board?
Yeah.
So they'll save like $10 on the production.
What
on
they'll
every
do
model
is they'll give it a price cut this fall, maybe, and then. But here's my question, Brad: does it have a sliding glass door? Because that's the only reason I got one of those. Very important.
I just want to ask Brad this. I understand what you're saying, dealer. They didn't change the silicone at all. They just basically plugged out the freaking disk drive. But I think if they were to really go all out and redesign it, the R&D into that, I don't know if they were willing to spend the money on that. So
I think in the long run it would have been smart, and really the console is a big expensive vehicle. I said this a million times. To get you have to get into your house so they can say the thing that really makes the money, which is the software. And in the long run, I think it would have been smarter, and it would have avoided all this negative PR. Which Microsoft can use the PR more than they can use the money right now, in my opinion.
That's true, but doesn't this all go along with how their marketing has been this whole generation? It's been trash. I mean,
well, they've been underfunded until here recently, so I don't know.
And it's not very good still. What's going on?
Well, apparently they're spending more than anybody right now.
On what? Announcing a $250 console?
Yes, on getting. You saw Major Nelson's gloves, Fonz. Why are you asking questions you already know the answers to?
Oh yeah, those.
How do you think they bought those gloves,
dude? They look very expensive. I take my comment back.
Hey, Drama Free Gaming says the digital box seems like it was rushed. Yeah, no thought was put into it. I don't know. I don't want to go that far. I don't want to discredit them, and I definitely don't want to rag on this thing. We are disappointed because we think it would be more successful at a lower price, but we're not going to panic, and the Xbox is doomed and all that dumb shit. So we'll see how it ends up. I personally have already shit on this price point. We all have. We're not going to cry about it. We're all kind of disappointed in that. I did like the advertisement, though. People are complaining about the 1 terabyte hard drive, and honestly, it's like, well, it's all digital console. Well, it's only 1 terabyte. It doesn't matter if it has a disc. You go buy a disc-based Xbox One S right now, every single byte on that disc has to be put onto that 1 terabyte hard drive too. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You download it off your disc or you download it off the internet. It doesn't matter if you still got the same size hard drive, same limitation. So, uninstall games, reinstall them just like you do with the disc-based stuff. The disc is just a medium to kind of transport it back and forth, right? So
no, it's just basically like DRM. The game's not on the disc. It goes to your console, and the game is always on the console.
Attached to your username.
Yeah, there's definitely data on the disc, but yeah, it's a key of sorts. Yeah, we got to give a shout out to over 800 people watch this live, guys. Hit that like button. Let's try to get up to 300 for the end of the show. We do appreciate it. So let's get up to 1,000 after the fact. I mean, Tim, a full-on redesign definitely would have been more beneficial. I think Brad, you probably agree. I don't know.
Yeah, but then you would have what, 6 consoles in development, or 4 consoles in development?
Well, why not make one of them, $200 and it looks a little different?
Listen, I just think that I get used to it, and you guys obviously don't do it, but just the whole Xbox community is just so knee-jerk reaction to everything that they do. To me, this is just something that they're going to put out there, and then during the holidays, it's going to be the most discounted SKU by far. Like, you're probably going to be able to get it for $139, and then what does it say then? This is just like when they announced.
Well, they'll say they did that because by the holidays they hadn't sold any of the, but
fire sale.
Yeah, but when you look at when you walk into Target, whatever, and you see
it's stupid the way they right. I don't know what they're doing, and like Brad says, there's something that they're not telling us, or there's something there that maybe will become evident when the whole thing happens, or when we get closer. Who knows?
Well, Tim, where's the?
My biggest question, and this is a question since people have asked Brad, I'm going to ask him: what are they going to do? Like today, I was waiting for Phil to say, and you're surrounded. We want to make you the center of the attention. You surrounded as a gamer for your content, and he goes into that spiel about how that's what they want to do. Okay, so then what's the charge for Xcloud? What are we doing here? Do you think that's going to be included with Xbox Live, or do you think what is their plan with that? Because to me, that's the biggest question I have of everything that they're doing right now. Are they going to include that with Xbox Live or Xbox Ultimate, or is that going to be another pay model?
So I would rephrase it to say, are they going to include it with Game Pass? Because to me, that's the natural marriage, right? You've got game streaming, you've got games in the cloud, you've got all that stuff. I think the verdict is still out on how they're going to monetize this, but what they're going to have to do is bundle it with something. I think it would be insane for them to come out with their own Xcloud service. Like, let's say it's $3.99 a month. Pick your number. The problem being, then you have Xbox Live Gold, then you have Game Pass, and then you have Xcloud. Like, there's too much.
Too much.
Now you got Xbox Live Gold Ultimate Game Pass Edition.
Yeah, it's got to be bundled with something.
Now, think about this, Brad. This has already been done, all right? Sony have already been doing this with PS Now. They've charged you X amount per month. You can stream whatever, do whatever, if you can possibly even get past the 200 milliseconds of latency. But then they're like, okay, now you can download the game. So you should be able to do a long time ago. But it's all under one subscription. That's what Game Pass is going to do. You can download it where you can download it, or you can stream it for that same fee.
I mean, it seems completely logical, but the point I want to make is I don't see them charging Xcloud as its own SKU, creating more services that are more confusing. Because you got to remember, we are in the minority, right? People on this podcast, people listening who understand all the differences, right? A lot of these people are the mom and pops who walk in, buy their kid a console, and then they look and be like, Christ, I got to buy gold, Game Pass, and Xcloud on top of this. And then they just drop the console and walk out.
And yell at the kids. But the thing is the way the Microsoft people have been talking and things I've heard, I think that it's possible that you could get your whole catalog on xCloud, and that thousands of these games, or the 2,000 games, how many games were ever on Xbox, are going to be pretty much all playable because they're racked in the cloud, as you know, as been mentioned. You know, like
you're playing on a box that they're already programmed and coded for, right? Like you just have to stream it now, right?
Right, it's still your content, but like, does it become a legal problem? Can EA say no? You can't stream.
That's not that easy. It's not that easy, Tim. Here's the problem. Let's look at EA and Ubisoft games. They may not want their games playable on the cloud at all.
It's an Epic exclusive.
Yeah, EA may say, you know, we're working on a cloud service and we're not going to tell anybody yet till we're ready. So none of our games can go on xCloud. And Ubisoft may say, well, we're working with Google Stadia, so none of our games are going to be playable on xCloud. And then there's all these developers who are like, I don't think that works. You know, I don't think you have the right to play our games.
Well, Game Pass makes sense then in that case, because then you'll have all your content has been authorized.
Well, Phil Spencer today already talked about a game that's not on Game Pass and that he's played on the cloud, which was Destiny 2. So that's a third-party developer, right? He said that.
That's a good point. That's a very good point, Soccer.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think that's going to be a problem, and I don't see why publishers and developers would give two craps about their game being on xCloud if that just means more people are going to buy it.
That's part of the drive, right? That's an appeal to developers.
It's not a discouraging fact like, oh, well, this is going to be on multiple million people's device. I don't want that. No, we don't want to sell more.
My game will have access to hundreds of millions of mobile users? No.
Yeah, so for him to say that, because he said, you know, like for the last month, I've been playing basically Destiny and doing all this stuff on my cloud. So, and he was in Japan when he did it. Right. So I will see what happens. I mean, I think the third party developers will want this, and I think it's going to be, you know, I don't want to say definitively. I mean, did you grab that, Brad Sams, what he said today? Did you have any information on that?
So here's the one thing to keep in mind that I don't think a lot of people are grasping with this xCloud stuff and how Microsoft is working. So let's use Borderlands, right? It's going to be an Epic exclusive for whatever. The thing with xCloud is that Microsoft is building it out so that Borderlands, yeah. When Microsoft is building this out, so it spans everything that they touch, including PC, they're going to solve a lot of these independent publishers. You could use Ubisoft. They're large, but like you look at an independent game developer who's trying to reach the broadest audience. The way Microsoft is building both the console and next-gen gaming on PC, it's that the games are basically identical. So they can go to Microsoft and be like, hey, throw this on xCloud, and oh shit, you're suddenly on, let's see, there's 30 million consoles and how many ever millions of PC gamers. The xCloud is going to be probably the biggest attractor to people. And I think this is going to make, I know people love to say PC gaming is the best, but I think we can all see that there's starting to become a fragmentation in the PC world, right? You have Steam, you have the Microsoft Store, you're now going to have Stadia.
You got GOG, you got Steam, you got Stadia, Uplay,
Epic Store.
Right. Yep. And so you have to open up your PC. And granted, we're all smart enough to figure out where the game is and all that stuff, but it's becoming more complex. It's not just a one-stop shop thing anymore, as opposed to where you turn your console on and all your shit's just there. It's just there and
3 seconds.
And wherever you sign in, whatever device you sign in on. And also,
and that's what they're gunning for.
xCloud is automatic. So like we said before, Xbox One S is in server racks, eventually Anaconda's in server racks, right? You're going to sign in. You're literally going to stream it from an Xbox. It's going to be running on Xbox hardware in a server database somewhere. And there's no work on the developer side. There's none. And that's the biggest thing with developers. Why would you turn that away? Hundreds of millions of 4G enabled devices and up, right? That doesn't make much sense to me.
It's different than Stadia, right? Because you explained to me, dealer, that the developers will have to
You literally have to code and develop for Stadia. Yeah, you have to port to Stadia.
Yeah.
Linux too, which is weird.
That's that good shit, Tim.
The other interesting thing too that Microsoft has, and I don't know the full details on how all this works, but they have this technology where they can split games. Like, first off, every game coming next generation is going to be built out of the box that will work on Xcloud and Anaconda hardware without anything for the developer. Developer just builds a game for Anaconda, and because of how they're building it, it automatically works with Xcloud. And Microsoft's figured out a way to split even next gen games and current gen games to give you a better experience. People are freaking out about Stadia, and while granted Google could just throw oodles of money at the problem, right? That is one way to solve it. It's not a developer friendly platform yet. And further, Google hasn't proven that their platform is the preferred platform, right? It's to your point, you have to build for it. Then you have to make sure it works on there. And then
you've got that latency.
You've got not even the latency is an issue by itself, but then if a developer has to build for Stadia and then that doesn't work really well and they still get a better experience natively, then they have to build and maintain 2 code bases of the same game. That doesn't work. You don't have that problem on the Xbox side. Like that is part of Microsoft's magic. At least that's what they're pitching right now, is that you just build one damn game and it works in Xcloud and it works natively and it works everywhere you need it. And that is going to be Microsoft's magic. You never forget that Microsoft is a software development company. They know how to do this. They patch 1 billion PCs every Tuesday of every month. Microsoft understands latency. They understand how to build software, and all games are just software. And so that is the ace that Microsoft has in its sleeve, is that they understand what Google is trying to do, but they're several years ahead.
So
they've been doing this for a while, right? Let me finish this real quick. They've been doing this a while, right, with UWP, right, which started off a little rocky. Things got more optimized. Then they do the game core thing, right? The game core is going to be a massive part of the next consoles. Now we got people freaking out like, oh, everything's going to be held back by the S, and it's like, why do you think game core exists, right? Why do you think scalability on the PC is key? And my 2080 isn't held back really right now, right? Because of that scalability. That's going to be a big factor, and you know, obviously, we have talked about this last time you were on RDX, but reassure the people that, hey, that's why Game Core is there. This is why they're really focusing on the scalability technology.
Yep.
I mean, it's as simple as that. Not much to be said.
Well, one of the problems is there's all these third-party games that go to PlayStation and PC and Steam that never even get near the Xbox. And Brad just explained for a couple minutes there about how easy it is to get your games onto the Xbox ecosystem. And but it's not happening. Like, there's all these developers that just, oh yeah, we're gonna make this game. It comes to PlayStation, it comes to Steam, it comes to just regular PC. You know, it's like, I don't understand why there's a disconnect where Microsoft's not getting a draw of those games in. And they may not be games that we all like. Maybe a lot of them are JRPGs, or they're a certain type of game that maybe we don't think will sell on Xbox, but you just these games need to be thrown on the Xbox ecosystem, and so they can sell more. And that's a missing link, and I don't know why. Maybe
I got to give a shout out to Steep Tech in the super chat. This is this is the kind of people we got to deal with here. This is a guy that gets you joy thinking that Microsoft's paying Sony just for having a Blu-ray drive. There's a coalition of companies that own Blu-ray, buddy. But thanks for the super chat. I think Colt, you got a really good point, bud. Gamer O'Malley, he says he's seeing people who spent 5+ years. Oh, here we go, bashing PlayStation on YouTube. Hang on, I'm trying to catch you here. He's seeing people that spent 5+ years bashing PlayStation on YouTube start bashing Xbox and Phil Spencer because they need to meet a view quota. Yeah, so I mean, that's a good point. There's people out there that do invent news stories and don't link them just for views, that are now really upset with Xbox, and that's unfortunate, man. I don't know. Like, that's, if you want to support that, you can. We've always been here doing our thing. We do appreciate the super chat, brother. But I mean, anything else, Brad, that you kind of want to cover with the base, the Xbox One All Digital and the PS5 and We've had you in here for an hour already.
Yeah,
I don't.
this is gonna have to be my swan song because the wife and kid are heading to bed, which is a polite way of telling me I got to shut up because I talk really loud.
Yeah, sign us out.
We do appreciate you coming by, brother. You've been on here before. We hope to have you again, man. Thanks for jumping in and giving us your thoughts.
I'll leave you with this, guys. There's a lot of exciting things that Microsoft hasn't talked about yet. And they're on the horizon, and I think people are getting really caught up in thinking that Xbox One S is going to be some sort of like bottom of the barrel. Microsoft has to make sure everything works perfectly across all the S and on up, and it's going to hold things back. That is so far from the truth that people don't understand how Microsoft can move forward and keep the S and X still in play, and that is their goal, is to keep these consoles working. Now, granted, you might be streaming a whole bunch of stuff, or you might be working with slightly different graphics, but these consoles aren't going away. And it's how Microsoft's going to make sure that they have a massive base going forward. And we're going to start to see, I think, some of that materialize at E3 as they start to craft that narrative, which is hopefully better than the one they announced today. But this is, you got to remember, the next generation coming up is all Phil Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
So keep that in mind.
Good point, Brad. Thank you so much for coming down, brother. Appreciate it. Everyone give Brad a thumbs up in the chat.
Thanks, Brad. You have a good night, bud.
I actually lifted my thumb in real life. I'm like, oh, wait. No, no thanks, Brad.
Where's my hot dog?
Yeah, don't worry, Brad. Stadia will take over next gen.
Boogle.
Boogle, baby.
Boogle. Oh, man. So thanks to Brad once again for dropping by. Really cool, down-to-earth guy. But man, we've only covered a few things in an hour. So once again, Death Mobile, what's going on, man? I always see you on Twitter, never see you in the chat. At least I always miss people in the chat. I'm always multitasking. Thank you guys for showing up. If you're still here, hit that like button. Let's get up to over 300. We're almost there. And of course, if you're watching after the fact, let's get up to that 1,000. We've got a ton of great topics, including Phil Spencer talking about E3. He's been talking about E3 for the past couple of weeks straight, which is awesome. We've always got some really cool stuff to talk about, but yeah, inside Xbox, guys. We never really particularly hyped an inside Xbox. We're always like, all right, we know what kind of the announcements we're going to have here. They did talk a little bit more about the future. They did talk about this Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order game as well, which I'm going to run through some of the things that a lot of people don't know. It's running on Unreal Engine 4. You play as a Padawan in hiding after the Order 66. And of course, it's melee combat focused. Kind of like Dark Souls, it's melee combat focused. And the combat is going to be easy to play, but hard to master, or at least, satisfyingly hard to master. Do appreciate it, Brad, in the chat there.
You should have hit the bull when he said satisfyingly hard.
I was looking at Brad's comment after he left. So yeah, kind of like Batman Arkham, it'd probably be pretty easy to play, but not necessarily that same style, but easy to play, but hard to master. And lightsaber hits are one-hit kills on stormtroopers. Finally!
After years of playing Jedi Outcasts and stuff.
Man, it's been so long. So lightsaber hits are finally one-hit kills, and that's got me stoked a little bit. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. Anybody kind of looking at this trailer at all? Let us know in the chat.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the game, actually. I think
you're working on a video on it, right?
I am working on a video on it. It's going to come out in the next couple days, maybe a day or two. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the game because I like what he said about this is a broad audience. Like Star Wars is worldwide, so we had to make the game accessible to a lot of people. But the more you put into the combat, or the more you put into it, how deep it is going to be very satisfying because you can act like a master, right? Because if you see somebody playing, like you said, Batman Arkham Knight or Batman the game, like they can get by beating 10 people. But if someone like Dealer who's played it a lot, it's a different feel. Like you could tell that they're more fluid.
They're throwing batarangs and clotheslining dudes, and yeah, it's
pretty cool. Like you can do whatever you want as long as you put the time into it. That's what I like about it. That's what I want to see from the game. And then not to mention story driven, like expand on the world of Star Wars. Like let's get that going a little bit. And the Unreal Engine, I'm happy they're doing that. Respawn seems to be kind of like the outlier of EA. Like they can just do what they want because they've earned it, to be honest.
They said we're not working with this trash Frostbite engine for this game. We saw Anthem. It's also going to be running 4K on the X, apparently, Tim, and it launches November 15th. Have you looked into this at all, Tim?
Which is it? I'm trying to actually get somebody to come on right now if he's listening. I hope he comes on. But what was the question?
I know who you're trying to get on. That'd be really cool, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. But
what was the 4K question?
That new Star Wars game.
I'm very happy about that. I'm just happy that it's single player and that it's not an Anthem type game. So I was very surprised that came out. I thought for sure that it would be multiplayer, microtransaction-y type deal. But kudos to Respawn. I think that they just basically said, "This is the way we're going," and they put their foot down. So
Mike Ybarra.
Fake Ibarra.
Freaking
Hey, drop some
Arrow.
PUBG codes, Fake Ibarra.
I think that's real Ybarra. I'm not kidding. That's who Tim's talking about.
Oh,
And he knew in the chat. So that might be real Ybarra. Sorry if you are real Ybarra. I apologize. We get fake Ybarra in here, and he drops some fake codes sometimes. So we do appreciate it.
one thing I have to say about this new Jedi game is, my question is, what is the difference between Respawn and BioWare when it comes to EA? Like, why are they letting them do what they seem to please? And it seems like BioWare is BioWare really that messed up? Or is it EA, or does EA really hold these guys, with a giant thumb?
Sounds like a mixture of the two, buddy.
Because Respawn is, they're doing what they want, man.
Mm-hmm.
This does not sound like an EA game at all.
Man, that would be really cool if we could get Mike in here and get his take on some of the stuff's going down. But Shane in the super chat, he says, guys, keep it real. Been let down by a few podcasts. You, Colt, and panel. Keep it real. We always do. And I think that's very important for any brand. If you're a fan of a brand, always be honest. We want more games, we want this, that, and the other.
Yep.
Usually companies respond, right?
I'm happy that this is a single player game, though. I'm really happy for that. And no microtransactions. That's another big plus.
Mm-hmm. No multiplayer, which depending on who you are, that could be a plus, right? Full focus on the single player, right?
But yeah, I want that single player narrative experience. And it sounds like we're going to get that in the Star Wars universe. That's a lot of plus signs there. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, EA's had kind of a rough past 2 years, and they've seen what people have been upset and complaining about. And I commend them for stepping up and saying, we're going to make a single player game. We're going to leave all this stuff out. Especially when Amy Hennig just said like that kind of stuff didn't sell, a single player game with nothing else to it. But EA was kind of in trouble. They're one of the big guys, and they needed something like this. Star Wars Battlefront 2 had such great potential, and it just was a really bad black eye for them. So I'm glad that they're making a correction. Most companies take forever to do that. So it's good news.
Everybody asked Mike Ybarra in the chat to jump in. But we won't ask any pressing questions. We just want to have a good time, get Mike in here. But that was definitely the real Mike Ybarra in the chat. Star Wars looks good, man. It looks really good. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate was actually announced, $14.99. Like I said, you can get Game Pass by itself for $10 a month, and you can get Xbox Live for $10 a month if you do it monthly, or you can do Ultimate and get basically the regular Game Pass price and the $60 a year subscription price. It doesn't necessarily save you a bunch of money, but it is cheap. They could have just had people do two separate subscriptions, 10 and 10. But they did do a bundle, which is cool, but it's not necessarily like mind blowing or anything like that. It's pretty convenient for some people. Any thoughts? That's been confirmed. $15 a month. So D-Batch, thoughts? You're the best of us, D.
It's too
talented.
You can get all types of Xbox Game Pass deals. You can get it for like $1 for 1 month. Right now they got it $1 for 3 months. You can go to cheap CD key sites and get it for cheap. It's overpriced. If you want people to get both of these services, you gotta have some value to it. You gotta at least cut the price of it a little bit. Because
you're always getting your codes in a back alley next to a Petco. You're always getting the discount,
Yeah, to be honest, you know what? You're right, man. I'll be honest with you guys. When I get my Xbox Game Pass code, I try to get it the cheapest I can get it. And this is just not a deal to me, to be honest with you. I think the service is fantastic. I don't know how they're gonna go next generation with the people paying for online and all that, but that's another story. But Game Pass itself, I think the service is fantastic. But this price stinks, to be honest.
Hey, just so you know, Mike is joining. He said, "Fine, give me a few minutes."
Nice.
So
Nice.
maybe we'll get Mike in here and talk about some really cool stuff.
We're not going to ask too many questions. Just
We're not going to ask any.
The entire script.
What is the
of E3.
latency for Xcloud?
Oh God, we're just
Give us
gonna.
the specs of the next generation.
I just want his perspective. I want his perspective from a man that's on the inside. you know, and his thoughts on all this stuff, and that'd be pretty cool to hear. So
The chat's going wild. Dealer, he said yes.
Well,
he said yes.
I'll be on my
I
best
told him the
behavior,
question
bro.
would be light, so obviously, we'll go over things. I know you might want to talk about Anthem. I don't know. I know he's a big fan of, or he was a big fan of that.
Man.
Yeah, let's not talk about Anthem.
He's like, I don't even see
Ugly.
those load times on that SSD. That's nice.
Oh my God, for real.
We're not talking Anthem. That's right.
Yeah, we're not talking Anthem, but we are.
I don't know.
We are going to go ahead.
Xbox.
We're going to go ahead and talk about some of these titles that are getting enhanced, right? So you are getting my topics all messed up because I was skipping around. You're getting
Gaiden too.
How do you do this, dealer? You've been like firing all cylinders for an hour and 12.
dude. I don't know. man.
We could just take a little take a break right now.
We gotta-
Great job,
We gotta keep it
honestly.
laser focused, brother. We got to keep it laser.
Yeah,
laser
this
focused.
is honestly really a cool show. I have to say
No.
it's one of the more memorable ones.
Ibarra said yes, and it got him flustered.
Well, the same thing happened to me one time too. So I have no shame in that.
Yeah. No, I'm scrolling through topics, man. Honestly, there's so much stuff to talk
I see it
about.
there. It's Ninja Gaiden 2, Splinter Cell Double Agent.
Now,
And,
Ninja Gaiden's new though. Ninja Gaiden is a new
Guys, we
Xbox
got-
One X enhancement, right?
We got Mike in the house.
Mike Ybarra.
Hey guys,
on,
what's
man?
going on?
hey,
Thanks
how's
for
it
joining
going?
us.
Hey, how's it going, Mike?
It's going well.
Did
Thanks
you
for
hear
having me.
Did you hear Zalker's voice raise when he said that, Mike?
The excitement just had to spill out. I'm sorry, Mike.
I do want to thank you for coming in. Congratulations on launching, or at least revealing, the Xbox One S All Digital Edition. Kind of anything you want to say about that? Like your thoughts on anything particular? We've been talking about it, obviously, and I'm sure you've been listening.
Yeah, I mean, I thought today's announcement was good. It's for us, it's just about how do we make gaming more accessible to everybody? And price point's a big factor there. I think there's lots of elements around choice and people being able to play where they want to play and how they want to play. And this is just another sort of release from us to try to welcome people into gaming and the community that we have. And, we know it's not for everyone. We know people like discs, but again, the focus really is just choice. And I'm excited to see where this goes. I think it fits really well with Xbox Game Pass, the service that it is part of what I do at Xbox. It's something we want to constantly add value to, and we have new games basically coming in every week, and it kind of ties nicely with this. I remember when I was a little kid, I'd be asking my parents, "Man, can I have $60?" Which was a lot of money for my parents.
They're like,
"Can I have
"No."
$60 for this game?" Yeah, they're like, "No." But you can walk in and walk out with a $249 box and basically $1 for 30 days of Game Pass, and it's 200 plus games at this point. And I think that's super valuable. But we're not going to tell anyone how to play, and we want to give people the options to play any way they want. And I think you'll hear more of that from us as we go forward.
And that's something people got to remember, right? I mean, if you've got a box today, don't worry about it. You're not affected. It's mainly kind of getting that price as low as possible, at least as of right now, what you're capable of doing.
Yeah, I think that's right. And we'll listen to the feedback like we always do and adjust on that. I think, there's some work that I want to personally do on, what does a digital promise mean to the consumer? And I think we'll lead in that area.
And this might be a little rude of me. I didn't introduce you properly. Do you want to tell people kind of what your role at Xbox is for those who might not know?
Yeah, I mean, I've been at Xbox. I've been at the company for 20 years, but in Xbox for about 7 or 8 years now. I've had many roles from making the games to running the platform, and right now I'm on the platform side, and I'm lucky enough to work on a lot of the initiatives and run a lot of the engineering teams that are working day and night to try to make sure we satisfy as many gamers as we can.
You're in the Xbox One X Project Scorpio trailer. That's where people are recognizing you from right now.
Maybe.
You are.
I actually don't know
famous,
what all
Mike.
trailers I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were in the video.
You're
in a spot for the Scorpio.
I always hate seeing myself in videos.
Well, we look forward to seeing
I
you.
got a radio mug, you know what I'm saying?
Not that bad.
We definitely
That's
look
why
forward
we're
to
all
seeing
on
you
here.
on the next trailer. That's for sure. So I mean, Xbox One S All Digital. It is what it is. I think you laid it out perfectly there. Anything regarding the PlayStation 5 stuff today that you might want to comment on? Kind of your personal thoughts. Anything caught you by surprise?
If I take off my hat as an Xbox employee, which is impossible, but I'll say that. I thought it was an exciting day. Anytime a new console comes out, I remember when I was a little kid, new consoles get announced, and I get all giddy and I can't wait, and I see the new capabilities. I don't know if we learned a lot about the capabilities in specific today, but certainly I applaud them for coming out and saying, here's kind of what we're thinking and here's some of the capabilities. I think Mark does a good job. Obviously, PS4 is successful, and so I was excited to wake up and see that news, and I wish Sony all the best going forward.
Kind of gives you, I'm sure you guys already knew, but it kind of gives you a little idea, like, you get a little idea of what you're working against. But I know you're kind of being polite and stuff. I want to thank you so much for jumping in. We don't want to keep you forever, but once again, man, thanks for jumping in and kind of doing your thing in here, man. Everybody drop a like for Mike. We're not going to keep you, man. But thanks again. And anybody got anything to say to Mike?
Yeah, Mike, you play a lot on PC. When you see these specs, I mean, it's pretty impressive to you how the next generation consoles are moving forward.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, when I look at the console's about accessibility. It's a low price point, low pain for consumer. They want to get right into the game, and they want to have a 10 or 15 foot experience that absolutely rocks. And so for that customer to see sort of where technology is going and how fast it's moving, it's amazing. And I think what will come in the future is going to blow people away, and it's going to be more and more difficult to really differentiate across those areas. But I think it's going to blow people away, and I'm pretty excited by that.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for Stadia as well, Mike. It's going to blow everybody away.
No. But I think that's interesting.
Mike, if that's okay.
Go ahead, Zucker.
Mike, yeah. So you brought up something about you do Game Pass. You're kind of heading that. Your Game Pass games start a lot quicker now when people install them. You worked on the back end to, I guess, prioritize how the data moves forward. I was wondering if you guys are working on anything else with like starting games quicker or anything like that, or is that kind of saved for next gen? Or are you guys kind of saving news for that?
I don't know what next gen is, but on Game Pass, I think what we hear from consumers a lot is they want great games, and what we call internally time to play is really critical for us, especially when you think about an all digital world or people around the globe who are capped on their data and elements like that. We want to make sure if someone sees a brand new game that when they hit play, they can get into the game as fast as possible. And so we have some technology right now that is developer independent. With Xbox One, we actually had some technology where if developers, I'll try to stay away from the tech as much as I can. Basically, a developer could write their game so that their chunk sizes would prioritize what needs to be installed first so the consumer could get in. The problem with that is anytime you put a burden on a developer to do something, it becomes actually really challenging to get that adopted for various reasons. The tech we're using in Game Pass is developer agnostic. They don't have to do anything. We use AI to look at the number of installs of the game across all of the consoles and say what bits need to be downloaded first, and that's what lets us get the gamers in. And I want to get gamers in the game in 1 second. I mean, that is really the world we have to be in, because games are going to get nothing but bigger and bigger as time goes on. And so absolutely, it's a focus for us. I think you'll see us continue to invest there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, I have a question for Mike, since you are you've always you've always said you're a PC gamer. What is your sentiment on what's going on with Epic Store and everything that's going on with that and Valve? Do you think that the PC in that aspect is getting too fragmented? And what's your whole thoughts about that? Because I know the PC community is like completely crazy about this, and they're kind of upset. A lot of people are upset. What is your overall take on the PC side with all of everything that's going on with PC, and what kind of future do you see PC having in the close future, or where do you see it going?
Yeah, I mean, I play almost on every device. And what I would say on the PC front is I think more choice is always great for consumers. And so the fact that there's viable options to, Steam and other stores, I think that's a net win because competition is always healthy and it brings innovation and it brings more to the consumer. I've always viewed Windows as an open platform. And internally, I have fought for that in terms of what Windows means to people. And I think some of the gamers are voicing some of their opinions on what that means and where they want to get the games. From my standpoint, I hope that as part of Xbox, we put our games everywhere we can and that it becomes up to the consumer of where they want to purchase those games. But again, more choice is always beneficial, and we'll see this kind of play out. And I think Epic's doing some great things to enable some developers to actually invest more in their games and bring more to people. I think Valve's been doing that for a while as well. And so I think everybody is kind of looking at the feedback and watching this. I know we certainly are listening to that feedback as closely as possible. And I'll always base my views on choice. The more choice and options we give a consumer, usually the better off we are in terms of attracting more people to this hobby that we love, which is gaming.
Yeah, one of your very own games, The Outer Worlds, is doing the Epic exclusive thing for a little bit, right?
I'm actually not sure on the new studios and what they're doing. I have to check what's going on there.
Gotcha. But it is competition at the end of the day, like you said. That's very important, and I think that's something people are forgetting. That stuff matters. And I did want to ask you one last thing. If you wanted to bail, I don't blame you. But I kind of wanted to clear something up with compatibility because it's very important to Microsoft. To us who are helping keeping people informed and keeping people up to date on what's going on, we've said it a million times. But the old consoles, the S and the X, they're going to be just fine in the next couple of years. They're going to move forward, and everything's going to work. Can you kind of reassure or kind of give any word on people that are afraid that if they go buy an Xbox One X tomorrow, that it's useless this time next year or in 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, we're committed to the Xbox X for sure. In fact, the Xbox One family. I mean, 360 is still very viable. There's tons of games coming out still on 360. The Xbox Live Service still works on that. That box is obviously very old from a release standpoint, and so definitely 100% behind the Xbox One X. I think that's a viable platform. It plays games in 4K, it plays games in 1080p with all kinds of options. We're continuing to invest in it every single month. You see that in the feature releases that we do. And so certainly from our standpoint, we are 100% behind that platform. And I see that thing being viable for many, many years going forward.
Hey, so just to clarify real quick, because people are going to see a loophole here. If AAA games are coming out in 3 years, you think the Xbox One X is still going to support those fully?
Well, I'll say this. From a platform standpoint, we want to embrace that. It's up to the developer what platforms they'll put their games on. And so I can't make a broad statement like every AAA game is going to be on that. I mean, even today, someone can choose to put it on Xbox or PlayStation or Nintendo Switch or PC. And so there's nothing I can say that'll 100% say every single game is coming. What I can tell you is the platform, that box, its life. I don't know what I can say to give the viewers more confidence, but we stand behind that box 100%.
Gotcha, you're committed.
I think people will be playing that thing 5-10 years from now.
I got something to say though, Mike. If you talk to any of those developers, just let them know that a lot of us gamers out there love performance modes.
Yes, we do. We do.
I mean, Mike's a fan of high frame.
Well, I love performance mode and cross-play and all kinds of stuff.
Before you go, Mike, thanks for fielding our questions. I just want to ask you real quickly. Are you guys factoring in that games are getting a lot larger, next generation? Are you factoring that into the size of the hard drive? And do you see the benefits of having a solid state drive, in a system, in a console?
Next gen doesn't exist, D.
What is next gen?
Well, I'll just speak in broad terms. Games are getting bigger. I think that's a fact ever since the game industry began. But there's also a lot of technology that's getting better in terms of compression and AI that allows us to manage that better. And so I don't think you'll see this linear scale where games were 10 gigabyte a while ago. Now they're 50. Soon they'll be 100. Then they're going to be 200 and 300. I think we as engineers have a responsibility to manage that better. And so I'll say that. And the investment profile we have says, what's the storage capability needed in a PC or a console or anything, but also what's the tech that we can create to actually make this more viable for people, because at some point it isn't viable for everyone around the world. And our goal is to reach 2 billion gamers around the globe, not just a segment that has that capability. So there's a responsibility that we have as a platform holder to make that better without just saying, go spend more money on hardware for a device. I use an M.2 SSD in my PC. I think it's dramatic in the impact that it has in PC gaming. I connect an external USB SSD to my Xbox One X. It makes the load times a lot faster. The less time you have to wait, the better. And so as technology advances, there's even things beyond SSDs. There's things above the rotational drives we have today, but below the SSD. I think all of that are good options as we go forward for sure.
I got one more question for you, Mike. If and I don't know if you, sorry.
How many one more questions can we do today?
It's not a big. It's not a big one.
10 for 10 on the questions.
All right, Mike Ybarra only got 16 more questions.
He's doing good. He's doing good. I'm just asking him one more. I mean, it's about
right.
the keyboard and mouse support for the Xbox. A lot of games like Age of Empires, right? I think they play better with keyboard and mouse, strategy games, stuff like that. They're a little more difficult to put into the controller. How is the support with third party on that? Have they been very embracing of it, and do you see that becoming like a staple for the Xbox?
Well, I think that we want to give everybody the input options that they can possibly have, whether that's the accessibility controller we've created, keyboard and mouse, or controller. I think I would say it's mixed on keyboard and mouse, because I think you see it from the support of the games. They're not broadly adopted yet. There's a lot of worry in the developer community, or concern, I should say, in the developer community around input and advantages and what is fair. And I've always guided developers to give users the choice, like support keyboard and mouse, support controller, but in the game, let the user to say, I want to play with people only on controller or only on keyboard and mouse, or I don't care, I'll compete against everybody. It's the multiplayer and the competition that I think draws a lot of emotion, because a lot of people forget the fact that it's very easy. And in Xbox Live, we enable this with an API to say, match make me with people on these input devices only, or on any input device. I think if you solve input, it solves a lot of the emotion around the fairness of, does a game support these devices? We're very early. And again, console is about simplicity. At the end of the day, you pick up a wireless controller, you press that what we call as the Nexus button, the controller turns on, and you play. There's no plug in a keyboard and figure things out. But there are a lot of people that play in console games in a 2-foot type experience, much like a PC. And I think developers should embrace any input and manage it through the game, and empower the consumer to decide who they want to play with.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And
That's
I
awesome.
want to speak on behalf of a lot of guys out here, because myself, I'm primarily console. Most of all of us on the panel are, but we do have very capable PCs. At the end of the day, I'm one of those that wants the option to not play with mouse and keyboard. Are developers kind of really thinking about that? Like, hey, put in a filter, let me avoid it. Like, is that more of a thing that you're hearing about, or is that going to be very common, you think? Because there's a lot of people that are afraid of that kind of stuff, and I kind of like to get this out there for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of feedback from gamers on this, and I think the developers are listening to it, and so are we as a platform. How do we make those APIs easier? As I look at more and more cross-play scenarios, I think cross-play should be an option. People should play with everybody in a game, no matter what platform you have. Input becomes a mechanic of that. And so we've just got to make sure the options are there, and that it's fair for everybody, and the consumer controls it. And I think if we do that, we'll be in a good spot.
Well said. Well said. Thank you so much, Mike.
Yep.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, you guys have a good show. Thanks.
Hey, Mike,
Thanks, buddy. Have a good one.
Mike, before you run, are you still playing Anthem? Are you still playing Anthem?
Right now I'm switching between 2 games, Division 2, which I think is fantastic. And Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I skipped, but what a fantastic game. Like,
Best
Ubisoft
game, man.
is just on a roll right now.
I told you, heard it from Mike Ybarra himself. Odyssey, fantastic game. If you haven't played it, you're a fraud.
Say
It's a
Malacca
very good
for
game.
us, Mike. Say
Well,
Malacca.
Well, Mike, you answered my question there. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
I do have Anthem installed, and they're doing great updates. So, I look forward to what the team there is bringing. But right now, my time is in those 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
Enjoy Odyssey, man. Enjoy that game.
Mm-hmm.
I am, for sure. Yeah.
Thanks again, Mike.
Odyssey.
Okay,
Mike.
you guys have a good one. See you later.
Have a good night, buddy.
All right.
Buddy now, huh, Zocker?
Wow,
Buddy
Zocker.
now, huh?
I'm being friendly.
You've been a little too friendly. Obi-Wan says RDX just got that much better. Thank you so much, bud. I got to catch up on the chat.
Wait. What do you mean RDX just got that much
Wait,
better? What,
I
we're
called out.
clever?
I called out Mike. I called out Mike Ybarra when he jumped in. I'm like, it's fake Ibarra.
Bro, hey, I'm going to say this right now. That Mike Ibarra has been in our chat a lot, and we've called him out for being fake. And it's really Mike.
Hey, like I said, there has been a fake Ibarra in the chat several times. That's the real Mike Ibarra. So everybody give Mike Ibarra a thumbs
that was
up.
really strange.
How was it
That
really
whole,
strange?
how that whole the fake Ybarra was it the fake? There was a fake Ybarra in the chat, or was it always just Ybarra?
No, like occasionally there's a
past,
fake Ibarra that
Oh,
drops.
okay.
He drops codes that are 5 digits short.
Yeah,
Right?
complete code.
He just said in the chat every single time I'm fake Ibarra.
Yeah, see, every time he comes in here, we go, there's fake Ibarra again.
Yeah. So I know several people that watch the show that don't necessarily comment. I'm not saying Mike's one of them, but I'm sure he's probably been here before, and we do appreciate it, man. We do appreciate all the support from the chat. Drop a thumbs up for Mike in the chat and click that thumbs up button for Mike in the panel, and as well as Brad Sams. We had Brad Sams, Tim Dog, and Mike Ybarra on the show. So that's never been done before.
And Zocker.
Yeah, that's
we have
never
Zocker
been
on.
Zocker as well. Like, holy fuck, you know? And we got to give a shout out to D-Rob as well in the super chat, man. Thank you so much. And our fantastic moderators, our fantastic T1000 Lethal Pop in the chat. We do appreciate it, man. This show has been absolutely fantastic.
Hey, this
Yep.
question has been repeated several times. I want to get it covered, so they'll quit asking because it's an all right one. But he wanted me to ask Mike Barr if we could all pool together a vote to see if the Scalebound could come back. But I think that's kind of a messy situation.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff I wanted to ask Mike Ybarra just now.
Yeah.
You guys understand that, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, I have a lot of awesome job listings. Like I can't exactly do that kind of stuff. So,
Well, you notice he couldn't even say next gen. Like he's like, when somebody was like, he's like, what's next gen?
But to be fair, he did answer quite a few things that he went out on a. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
He did it very good. I have to say, I wanted to tell him that the answers were very good. He knew to stay with it. He's under a lot of pressure too. He can't say the wrong thing and leak something, and then they get mad at him. So, obviously there's no next gen to them right now. That's going to be at E3, and I thought that was funny though. But I thought he did a good job. I thought we got a lot of information.
He basically he didn't jump on, pull a Dana Carvey, and yell 8K and leave. So.
He just said, if I'm fired tomorrow, this crew will know why. Yeah, that's very cool of him to come in.
He was good. I'll probably come in again. He's definitely. I think he enjoyed it.
yeah. Well, Mike, once again, thank you so much.
Yeah,
I think that your stock went up. Honestly, you're very transparent, and you got I think it's good for executives to get their perspectives out there because it's easy. The tall trees catch the most wind, right? So.
Yeah, and you see it a lot from Microsoft. Like you got Phil talking with the community a lot. It helps. It helps us get an understanding of what's going on. So
It does.
and they're at E3. So I mean that's kind of a good idea.
It does. And we got a pretty, I think we're the largest Xbox podcast in North America now. I'm not really sure on that, but we've been consistently out doing Unlocked, and we got a lot of people out there that listen to us. And, we do appreciate all the support and everybody that drops by. It's all because of you guys. Well, we got other stuff to talk about, but holy shit, it's been a night, isn't it?
Yeah, man. I'm looking at this list here of topics that we still got to get into.
Hey, I'm just happy that Mike actually brought up the keyboard and mouse thing and said we're leaving it up to the gamer. Like, give gamer choice. When everybody that you've heard around the community say Xbox doesn't give a shit about you and they'll let you play against no. He just literally debunked everything that people have been saying. That they're making it up to the developer and then give the gamer the choice of who they want to play with. I love that. That's why I asked that question. Because that's just awesome.
I thought it was great too that when we kind of talked about the Xbox One X, and already you started seeing people creeping up saying, "Is the Xbox One X not going to be viable anymore? You just bought a piece of shit for that's going to be outdated." But Mike was
while they're hugging the Pro,
yeah, but Mike was very clear on that, and pretty much
he said, "Hey, I mean, if developers want to continue,
Shout out to Dirk Griggity. He gave you $5 super chat. Said, thanks for being a true Xbox podcast that an Xbox guy like him can enjoy.
Hey man, we're for anybody that wants. That's why I started the show. That's why it's called Real Deal Xbox Podcast, because we keep it honest. We do critique. We ask for more. I feel like a lot of that's coming our way. Mike Ybarra in the chat, by the way, said thank you all. He's talking to the chat, talking to the panel. You guys are great. Hope to talk again soon. Thanks to all. Take care. #gamer. Thank you so much, Mike. And you know, definitely a hell of a show tonight, guys. We got other topics, but man, we've kind of
how impressive job you've done shooting on all cylinders for an hour and 30. You need a coffee or like some Gatorade or something.
I think I need less coffee.
I'd be done. I'd be like, all right, Mike, take over the show.
I've been doing this for 2 years, man, and sometimes I'm half dead sick, and sometimes I'm not. But I'm always trying to at least add some energy. And like I said, we feed off the chat and the guys watching too. So
it did not feel like 2 years. I mean, it's crazy that it's like, oh man, it's Tuesday already. Like we've been doing this for a minute, and I enjoy it every week.
Hey, Eric in the super chat says next week's gift, Ryan McCaffrey. I don't have any problem with Ryan McCaffrey at all. Some people do. Like just because one person has a beef or doesn't like somebody, don't mean that me in the middle has to do the same. So if you want to see Ryan McCaffrey on the show, then tweet at him and let him know about the show. He might not know about the show. I don't know. So maybe we could have Ryan.
He knows about us. He knows about it.
I think next week we'll have Yoshida on. Don't worry about it.
Oh, whoa.
Hey,
Makai
dropping the big bucks in the super chat. Thank you so much for the 50. We do appreciate it, man. Man, I gotta find a way to give something back to the chat. Even that's crazy. So we do thank you, man. We're gonna do some outros. We've been in here for a while. We had a fantastic discussion. We had some big topics today. Almost 900 people watching. And once again, you guys are fantastic. Hit that like button. We got over 400 now, but we want more. And maybe share this where you share things. We're going to start some outros with Beastfire Tim Dog, brother. Thank you so much for coming through as you usually do. Love having you on the show. What have you been playing? Where can people find you? What are your thoughts about all this stuff?
I have to say tonight's show was a top show for me. I really feel that it was a good show. It was nice to have Brad on and then followed by Mike. Really fun show, I have to say. So thank you for having me. It was good that we all came together like that. And congratulations to everyone here. This show is awesome. You know what I mean?
Tim, you're part of the reason that I got into this, brother. I used to watch you on Next Gen's channel years ago, man. So I mean, you've been around. I
appreciate it, but you know what you do here is good. You know, and like it's good to be real deal Xbox gamers and not guys just switching up for whatever reason. But I appreciate that, and I think that's going to pay dividends in the future. I think that Xbox is going to have a good E3, and a lot of naysayers will be, naysaying. But overall, you can see me on Twitter, Beastfire Tim Dog. That's pretty much my central location. I do a podcast on Sunday with a couple of buddies, Xbox Roundtable. It's a good show, 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
What channel is that? Is that the channel Xbox
YouTube? Roundtable? Yeah. It's just I put it's on the YouTube TXR. You could just do that, and it's a good show. We're just kind of ramping it up now. But it's a good show, good people there. Invader's there, he's the host. But like I said, just a pleasure to be here. This was an awesome experience. When you have fun podcasts like that, that's when it's worth it.
Yeah, it's and that's the goal, is to make them all fun, man. So thank you. You're welcome anytime. I'm definitely gonna try to lure you in here more often. Maybe, I don't know, you like cookies? I'm gonna lay some out and maybe. Thank you so much, man. What have you been playing?
I'm on a diet.
What have you been playing?
I just finished Guns, Gore, Cannoli 2. It was a very good game. I started Metro Exodus, and Invader tells me that I have to replay it. Because I played it and I thought it was good graphically. I just wasn't feeling it 100%. So I have to get back to that. Sometimes I give a game a thing and I don't give it a full fair shake. I feel like I'm just too tired or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I finished Devil May Cry 5.
I was gonna say, Tim, I think you were on Devil May Cry for like 37 hours straight. Like you left your Xbox on and were like, you're playing on your couch going, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah,
but that Devil May anymore.
Devil May Cry 5 honestly was one of my favorite experiences in a long time. I have to really highly recommend that game. And
looks really good. The HDR on those scenes where he's cutting the sky with that sword and the portal opens, like wow.
And even though the story was so crazy, I just for some reason I just felt it was cool. Like even though none of it made sense, the girl would come out of the air with her van, you know, that kid, like what the hell? I mean, like it just went along with it. It was you know,
it's a different game. Yeah, it's very cool.
It's a Japanese developed game, and I think that's sometimes I miss that. You know, when I played as a kid, I played a lot of Japanese made games, you know, JPG RPGs. That's what I grew up on.
I thought you was doing the alphabet for a second.
You know, you know, but I grew up on that, so it kind of brought me back. I definitely I know that Xbox too. I have heard that they are looking to get a Japanese developer to add to Xbox Game Studios. I really hope they do, because you know, they make some good games. And but overall, that's you know, thanks for having me. It's been awesome, a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I just realized that we didn't really get to what Phil Spencer actually said. We can kind of cover that just real quick, but he did double down on kind of the gaming freedom, and he talked about how streaming Destiny through Xcloud, and Zalker is absolutely, you know, phenomenal for catching that. That's not in Game Pass. And he did talk about how they're definitely gonna have a very diverse lineup on their stage this year, and also the kind of testing the servers for Xcloud and all that kind of stuff. The new studios, and once again, I have to double down on this because people always emotional around this time of the year. They just can't think past their foreheads. Phil confirmed again that they're gonna have some stuff from their new studios already on the stage this E3. This is like the fourth time he's done this, right? People don't remember. I don't understand, but he did also say that it's going to be a little bit before those teams are kind of folded in line, full steam ahead, and they're fully integrated into their annual lineup stuff. Like they're going to show some stuff, and then you're going to get Gears, and then early next year, and next year you're going to get, you know, probably Halo and Forza and all this stuff. But going forward, Fable and all that stuff, it's all looking great. I think that pretty much is 100% that Fable is coming from Playground, right? Tim Dog?
Yeah.
Tim Dog died. Okay. So
he
I was here. The Fable. Sometimes I just I don't want to be hawking into the thing. So I keep it down. But I don't think we'll see Fable. I think Ninja Theory. I think Fable is.
You don't think we'll see a teaser for Fable?
I think they should, but I don't know. I know that Phil has a lot, and I think Phil's like one of these guys that likes to hold off stuff so he can have stuff for XO19 or whatever, or he doesn't want to show a game, and then he's been strict on that supposedly, that he doesn't want to show a game, he doesn't want to scale bound, or he doesn't want a Crackdown experience again. He wants them to kind of keep it within the Gears tradition, announce it, show gameplay, and come out that year. So I don't know about Fable. I'm leaning no. I'm leaning yes to Ninja Theory. And I'm leaning yes to maybe Rare Game, new IP, or you know, somebody from Banjo or something like that. That's the way I feel.
Yeah. Well, I do think they'll tease Fable. If I had to bet, I think they'll tease Fable for sure. We know that game's been in the works since 2017.
I think they should, no matter what, to be honest.
Yeah, it's been in development for years now, right? And keep in mind, Playground, but they got guys from BioShock and Rockstar and Arkham, and you know, they got they brought guys in that knew how to build stories and worlds. So Phil's doubled down and said, hey, we're going to give teams time to build those worlds and characters and make them interesting. That's very important. So if you want those types of games, you know, God of War was special because it took 5 years to make. It takes time. So once again, nothing's changed from now to 6 months ago to 4 months ago to a year ago. Everything we still know the same stuff, but some people have broken. And I'm not really, you know, it is what it is. Like, it's really odd to me. You went from damage control on these things to now the opposite, and it's just really crazy to me. So once again, E3 is looking good. Phil talking about diversity on the stage. You're going to get some Japanese support. You're going to see some new stuff, and maybe tell that to people that are freaking out about not seeing new stuff. Hasai in the IHSAI in the super chat. I don't know what that is, man, but thank you so much. I do appreciate it. 1,200 yen, maybe.
I texted it to you.
Oh, okay. Well, you can. Okay, that's fine. And you text it to me. You know, I can't pay attention to any of this stuff. And we've also got Big X. Good show as usual. I'm glad to see Pony Boys in an Xbox podcast. because they have nowhere better to go. Yes, Big X, you're right. This chat's always moving when I'm reading this stuff. You're right, Big X. It's kind of odd seeing those guys here, but hey, I guess that you're right. They don't have anywhere else to go.
You know what? We welcome them all.
Yeah.
We welcome all.
everybody.
Anybody with common sense, you're welcome. Like, try
Hey, what
fan.
happened to your little buddy, Fonz? He hasn't been here in a bit.
Nah, he died.
Hey, UOFM in the super chat. Awesome show. Thank you so much. Like Tryhard fan. He's a big Sony fan, but he's logical. He doesn't attack people. He's respectful. He understands what we're saying. He might disagree, and that's human nature. Shinsaya, thank you so much, brother. We do appreciate it. Super chat. So many of these. Ellie, and I do miss some of these, so I'm going back. I can't do that, buddy. I'm not going to talk about other people's super chats, but I mean, hey, that's a question. Everyone's kind of curious about why people are getting really emotional. We got Brutus, amazing show. Here's some love. Thank you so much, man. It was great having all these people on. Phenomenal show. So Tim, that's what you've been playing. That's what you've been up to. Colt Eastwood, man, what have you been playing? You just dropped a video. Go check out Colt's video. What have you been playing, Colt?
Yeah. It's been a crazy day. It took me a long time to get to the PS5 news to do a video because of a busy day, but Dealer started my day with a great video covering the PS5 stuff, covering it from his perspective and what he's covered. So that was good too. I am back on Metro Exodus, a game I thought I was totally going to give up, and I thought it took a $60 L on a game that everybody else loved, and I just persisted. Randall Thor and Dealer just said, "Hey man, just get past that area and you'll find some supplies." I was like running around with 11 bullets, and I was punching the zombies with my gun, and it makes this sound. It's like an old kung fu game. That game I'm starting to get the satisfying loop. So I've been playing that. Dealer and I went through Borderlands Game of the Year, like almost the entire set of content there. I've been busy. It's been crazy.
We got over 1,000 gamer score on that already. Yeah,
I got like almost 1,500 gamer score just this month, and we're midway through. It's just like somebody in the chat. He doesn't like Xbox. He says Xbox needs games. It's like, well, yeah, I'm kind of running out of money right now. There's a lot of stuff coming for E3, so it's going to be good.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff
excited.
coming. I'm very excited they've done what they've done, you know.
Yeah, and thank you to the chat. Like, the chat is so good. You guys are so active. You're like energetic. You keep us moving. You got good questions. And if you weren't here, like, we wouldn't be here. So we appreciate it. It's cool to have Brad on. And of course, to have Tim. It's always good to have Tim. And it's cool to have Mike Ybarra come by. I mean, I had a good smile on my face.
Mike Ybarra.
Under the sunlight.
We've been playing a lot of games, man. I'm still blown away by Halo 2, even like that whole blur cinematics, and it's so great. Fonzarelli, man, good show. What have you been playing? Where can people find you, bud?
I've been playing Hellblade, started that up, and I'm taking a break from Sekiro, from getting my butt handed to me. But I also want to thank this awesome chat, man. They're always great every Tuesday, man. This chat is awesome. It's the best chat out there. I know everybody says that, and I'm biased, but no, I mean it. It's the best chat. Thanks to Tim Dog.
No, I mean, I say it because it's actually true. Yeah.
So thanks to Brad Sams and Mike Ibarra, of course, for not playing Anthem anymore. I'm just kidding. But no, seriously though, guys, it's awesome. RDX is awesome, and I'm just glad that this whole podcast is getting even more eyes. Today we had like 900 something at one point viewers, and that was probably one of our highest shows, I think, in views, live views anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome. But yeah, you can find me at Jay Fonzarelli here on YouTube and on Twitter, and also find me at my new podcast. If you're into mixed martial arts, you like the fights, watch my podcast, or listen to my podcast rather, here on YouTube at Fight Culture Podcast. You guys can find me there.
If you want to hear him talk about how Poirier
I love UFC. I'm going to be listening to that, Fonz.
Yeah, we go live every Sunday, 1 p.m.
Yeah. Me and Fonz are watching Poirier Holloway. That was a really good fight, and Poirier is just like, whoo, dude's coming along, man. He took the hard road, but he's here. He's here to stay.
And I got to clarify, 1 p.m. Pacific time.
That's important,
4
Fonz.
p.m. Eastern.
That's very important.
Fugo.
I will definitely be. I will be in the chat too. I am.
Definitely. Thank you, man.
Yeah, do you watch the fights, Tim? Do you watch? I'm
a big UFC. You guys can.
Dude, Me and Tim tried to go back.
Tim was
Yeah,
rapping this weekend about the paywall at
me and-
ESPN.
Yeah, and you know what? I actually I bought the paywall and I bought the whole thing.
I got
got
a year
me.
ESPN
It sounded
Plus.
like Trump. Oh my god.
They got me 100%. I mean, I don't really agree with what they did, you know, but whatever. I'm gonna watch these fights. I'm just too.
Tim,
I mean, yeah.
Here. Me and Fonz watch these fights in a party. Next fight, you need to fucking join us in a party and watch this shit.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I think me and Fonz probably can remember. You know, we go back to the point when they were fighting in New York. I think I saw the first UFC fight ever, where they banned it in New York. You know, the likes of, I don't remember who was on that card, but I remember Fonz. I'm sure you remember Coyce Gracie, Dan Henderson, all those guys, you know, who started. They used to not have weight classes. It used to be like,
back then I believe in that one it was Frank Shamrock, Hoist Gracie. There was a bunch of them.
All right, you guys are hijacking an Xbox fight.
we gotta talk though, Fonz. Honestly, we gotta.
We
talk.
will. Fonz, you gotta have me and Tim on your MMA podcast. How about that?
Yeah, definitely.
I can hold my own, Fonz. You could test me in the DMs.
Until Poirier shows up and pieces you up, bitch.
I watch a lot of fights.
Hey, anime is amazing. At Dealer Gaming, when will you start releasing? When will you and Colt release new videos? I mean, we release a couple videos a week, or at least I do. Colt releases one, maybe two a week if he's lucky. These videos take a long time, guys. Like if I was just throwing some gameplay in and just rambling and fucking everything's a story, and you know what I'm saying? Like I like to think that the videos matter, or at least there's something there, and there's always a fucking source, which is important for the most part. So. Yeah. You know, that kind of stuff. I can't do videos every day, let alone several. I'm not all about the money. I'm not all about the bullshit. I'm going to try to put stuff out there that has a purpose. And if you guys enjoy it, you know, that's the reason that you guys have carried this channel. So, yeah, that's how it works.
I want videos that people can watch more than once if they want to catch all the stuff that's being talked about or get the information, see the gameplay and all the relevant footage. But a couple people have keep asking Dealer and I to collab on a video together. And maybe that's something we need to come together and just.
We did it before. It's a lot
of work.
Maybe you can link it. Maybe you can link the last one we did.
Yeah, you guys did one.
Yeah.
Which was funny. But yeah, these videos, man, like yesterday's video took like 7 hours to make. And then luckily we got some PlayStation stuff today and I was able to crank that out in a couple hours. But these videos take a long time, man. I go through a lot to render it at 4K and show everybody what Xbox games actually look like, you know, and edit all this stuff. And I've invested a lot in this PC to be able to do that plus all the future stuff. Like people think, I heard somebody say I thought I needed a Threadripper for 4K. I was doing 4K before Threadripper, right? Yeah, so I mean, obviously, I got it for future proofing, and now I'm starting to work with multiple 4K layers on top of each other, which used to kill my old i7, and now Threadripper just destroys that at full quality. So I mean, it's future proof. I'll be great with the next Xbox's footage or whatever footage I'm working with. I'm good to go, and I think Colt's good too with his 2700X. You know, so.
Yes, it makes a big difference. You and I both did a year of the Xbox One X videos that a lot of people saw, and we really concentrate on showing the top quality, you know, because the X DVR is so good. Like you can actually put the game up on screen in your videos, and it's really indicative of what the game feels and looks like if you're playing it. So it really drives home the point for people who are on the fence about if they want to buy an X. And it's cool that you asked Mike Ybarra point blank, like if you buy an X this late, like at the end of 2018 or early 2019, is it going to persist? Like you're still going to be able to use it? Like that was really cool to hear tonight.
Yeah, I didn't get quite what I wanted out of that, but you know, I know that
I think
some things probably aren't locked down.
You got it.
You got it 100%.
Yeah. Yep, you got it.
And then you even try to double whammy. You'd be like, and you know, just so we don't have any kind of trickery here.
You even try to double whammy it.
Somewhere can I have a game code for PUBG before we leave?
Actually, he said. You know,
anyway, anime. That's why we don't put out daily content. We try when there's something to talk about, we'll try to get a video out, but we're not going to force this stuff, and we're going to try to make it mean something and do it in a high quality way.
Yeah, it's funny. I try to as a, you know, it's kind of a joke, but like some of my videos take me about 6 hours, and after I render and I get to drag that file into YouTube, I'm like,
Now it gets worse. You got another hour to set up everything. Then you got to make the thumbnails, like an hour and a half.
No, I mean, but we really love it, and we love the feedback from people, and that's why like I can set aside that one time a week where I can just make a video I hope everybody enjoys, and we're so grateful, all of us. Like Zocker's moving up. He's well over 2,000 subs. He's growing his channel. It's awesome. Ding.
Yeah.
And, it's so cool that people that love gaming as much as us like tune in and watch our videos and comment and share them. It's really, really cool. We're very, very grateful.
More Cloud Tech USA. Not sure what that's a reference to. We do appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Is D here? We haven't heard from D in a minute.
D-Batch talking about dainty feet.
Yeah, I'm here. D-Batch, tell us where we can find you, brother, and what you've been up to and what you've been playing.
First off, I gotta say, I always have fun with the panel here, but today's show was extra special with Tim, with Mike, with Brad. It was just an excellent show, excellent energy. I had a great time. I'm playing right now Devil May Cry 5. Like Tim, I grew up on Capcom games, and it's good to see them, back to their glory. I'm really enjoying this game. I'll probably clear it tonight, and then after that, I'm probably going to get into World War Z, and then after that, I'm probably going to finish grinding in Forza Street.
How is what are they saying about World War Z? Is it going to be good, or what's the deal?
Actually, it got good reviews. I watched all the previews. I watched gameplay. It's co-op, 4-player multiplayer co-op, and it's pretty much like Left 4 Dead. So,
Hey D, I'm looking at my Xbox now. I can't find that Forza Street. Where's that at?
It's not. I see.
Stay tuned for the more.
I just real quick.
It's on the Epic Store.
I did a little video yesterday on it. I just had to do a video on it because when I was playing the game, when I started up, I actually thought the game had like controls, like with a controller, you could use the inputs on it. It's like completely based on a mobile game. It's basically optimized for a touchscreen. So using like the damn space bar for your acceleration, that's pretty much all you do. Like
your footage looked really good though, D. When I watched your video,
yeah,
it looked really nice.
Yeah, it's clean on the PC, but it's like a car watching simulator, to be honest with you. Anyways, you guys can catch me on Twitter at D_batch. And you can now catch me on PSN at D hyphen batch. Yeah, I actually got to change my name, so that's excellent. It's not doo-doo breath anymore.
But you lost half your games.
And you can catch me on YouTube at D-Batch.
Well, we do. Hey, it's Buddha time. Looky, hey Buddha, what's going on, buddy? It's been a while. There's so many people in the chat still. We do appreciate it. And by the way, if you're still here, I think I'm not sure if Noof does his thing after our show still. I didn't hear him say anything about it, but be sure and swing by Noof's channel after the show ends. I think he might be doing some stuff there. But we got D, we got Tim, we got Colt, Zalker. What have you been playing? Don't tell me I come back to you again.
No, you haven't got to me.
Okay. What do you even? Just kidding. I don't care. What have you been playing, and where can people find you, bud?
Beat Resident Evil 2. Been playing that. That was a really fun game. I didn't think I would like it as much as I did. Been playing Halo 2 with you, and playing Apex, playing a bunch of games. Trials Rising. Again, I want to thank Brad Sands for coming on, and my good buddy Mike Ybarra. Happy that he's on here. Just because best
partner.
Yeah,
Zucker's like, see a partner.
Yes, yeah. So, and the big thing, actually, a special shout out to Lethal. I mean, we had a bunch of people in here, and Lethal kept the chat really freaking like awesome and very safe for people to talk games, and he cleaned it up in there. And shout out to Lethal Papa, man, he's the best.
T1000.
And you can find me at Zalker87 on Twitter and on my YouTube channel, Zalker87. I just put out videos on the PS5 leaks, and I brought another one out about the Sea of Thieves update. I hope everybody checks that out. Huge update on the 30th for that game. You guys know I love that game, so check it out. A lot of cool things coming to that game, and this was an amazing show today. Honestly, it was just awesome. Dealer, good job, bro.
Thank you, bud. We all make the show go around. Also, Fonzarelli, bud, what have you been playing, and where can people find you?
I did my outro, but I want to give a shout. I want to give a shout out to.
No, we've had way too much mic time.
No. I have not had.
Oh, that's right, he did. Yeah,
I did.
See,
really?
even Colt forgot. It's not just me.
No, but here's the thing. I want to give a shout out to an up and coming YouTuber. I think he does good work. FC Violent. If you don't know him, he's good.
Yeah, he's great.
Guy. Check him out.
Yeah, I think I gave him a shout out like a week ago. Yeah.
Yeah, did you? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't think you guys were here. I don't remember. So
after we all left, he's like, okay.
After the show was over, he gave him a shout out behind the scenes.
Hey, what the fuck? Okay, so King's Blood's on Twitter trying to compare a custom variant of ray tracing on dedicated hardware to a fucking PC. Open your ears, King's Blood.
My gosh, the RTX
real
2060 is $400, guys. The
Let's
RTX
just real
2060.
quickly. Crytek just released an engine, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago. They got ray tracing running on a Vega 56. It looked fantastic. We don't know if Navi has dedicated ray tracing hardware on there. We don't know what type of software implementation they're going to be using. You know, NVIDIA just released ray tracing on the GTX 1080 cards and whatnot. 1080 Ti can do ray tracing somewhat. So, like, come on, just give it a break.
Yeah. Well, King's Blood's not a tech guy, and he knows better than to question me. He said it himself. I know my shit. So, King's Blood, I know you're a little troll, and that's great, and you got to get the likes and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to control. I'm not going to compare. Who knows how rudimentary of a form of ray tracing they will have to some newly implemented, unoptimized shit that's already gotten substantially more optimized in the past 6-7 months. So. I'm definitely not going to do that.
I think that was the biggest news of today. Other than that, the SSD that he was using ray tracing.
Yeah. I remember Garrett at one point was saying that ray tracing wasn't happening, right, Tim? I think I recall him saying that.
Yeah, he did say that. I have the receipt and I showed it, but the fact is that I had asked questions even publicly to Phil about ray tracing, and he's, you could read between the lines. So, I was pretty sure that it was coming, and then that leak came and it said it had ray tracing. So it's definitely going to be there. It's going to be there for obviously Sony and Microsoft. Well, what's update?
Tim, let's say real quick. DirectX ray tracing in Windows right now on PC is DXR. It's on DX12, which of course is Microsoft. Why would people think that their next generation console that has to at least sit in people's homes for the next 4 years would not have that tech in it? It's just unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
And it'll be much more optimized than I would think that it has been for NVIDIA's first shot at it. I mean, I'm pretty sure Lockhart's going to have it too. Like I said, X is going to be just as viable, probably run in the same area as Lockhart. But if like a game has ray tracing, it's possible that it might not have it on X, and it will have it on the 2-gen the Lockhart and the Anaconda.
Fonz and I were talking earlier that we just don't want developers to think, oh, let's max up ray tracing and put out like a dynamic or a checkerboard of 4K 30 frames per second game instead of pushing for 60 first. I want developers. I mean, this is something we can't ask like an executive, but I want to talk to all developers and say, hey, get 60 first and then throw everything you have until you run out of room. Like, right? Like, what the heck? This generation's been so ridiculous.
It'll be interesting, but I'm sure people won't even touch the ray tracing. I think the higher end, the bigger, the quadruple A's would probably do it. You know what I mean? But, I'm not really. I got to look more into ray tracing. I've been hearing about ray tracing for 15 years, and I heard it would never be possible. I've seen some of the demos, but and I have a card that's capable of doing it. I guess when it becomes fully, implemented, I guess it's going to speak for itself. But it's going to be interesting to see where the developers go with it. I definitely think you're going to see it in some first-party games too, for like what Xbox is pushing out. You're going to see it that tech used.
As long as this outro is, we still, I don't think, have hit 2 hours on this podcast. So just keep in mind, guys, that we don't set a
I thought
timer.
we were off the air.
We don't set a timer and then be like, we got to hit this timer because it does this and this. We just go, and if it needs to end, it ends, right? So
hang on a second. Andrew B in the chat says 15 years for ray tracing. Who is this buffoon? I've been hearing about ray tracing for 20 years.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, I used to work in.
You got to remember too. These people, some of these guys don't consider things before they type. Like the movie industry in ray tracing,
They've been
forever,
using
so.
ray tracing for like 20, 25 years. I mean, it's in 3D rendering it's like one of the foundations for lighting. It's how you cast shadows and get it's like, that's funny.
It's an amateur.
It's new.
It's good
newer
stuff,
games.
but we got to move forward, guys. We got to get out of here. So, myself, once again, thanks to Mike Ybarra for dropping by. Brad Sims, Tim Dog, man, you're welcome anytime. Of course, you know that.
Awesome.
I've been playing Halo 2. I'm about to jump into Assassin's Creed Odyssey, that First Blade DLC. I wanted to wait till it completed, and I just haven't gotten to it yet. I've also got Witcher though I'm back into, and there's just so much stuff. So I don't know. I'm gonna decide. We just got done with Borderlands as well. We already steamrolled that. So we definitely play games, man. Unlike some people out there talking about how badly they need all these new games now, but they don't play any games to begin with. It's funny to me, but at the end of the day, we do appreciate you guys dropping by. Drop a like if you haven't. Subscribe if you haven't. Share this where you share things if you haven't. Mike Ybarra, maybe we can get him back on sometime and ask him some questions from you guys. If you want to see anyone else on the show, maybe tweet at them, let them know about the show. We're relatively new, honestly, for being around for only 2 years. So I think we've come a long way in that short time, and we've always had a great panel. So once again, guys, thanks for doing what you do. We are going to go and probably eat or do something human-like. So we'll see you guys later, guys.
Later, everybody.
Thank you.
Malaka.
Everyone, awesome.
Fake Ibarra.
That was so funny. No, it's Ibarra.